Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm going to show you step by step how to build a mix template that gets you ready to take on real client work. In today's video, we'll start by setting up a new project and creating all the tracks you need to jump straight into mixing. So let's just call this a mixing template. We'll set up for broadcast quality, so 24-bit 48K WAV. Set your location locally or to a hard drive. I prefer local. Here we have a blank mixing template in Pro Tools. Now, first things first, because we're working to picture, I like to set the grid to one frame so we can skip along frame by frame. Now, when you're working on, for example, a TV promo, you're going to want to have all the tracks in place, which include voiceover tracks, sync tracks, sound effects tracks, and music tracks. Let's go ahead and create the voiceover track. Shortcut for this would be Shift-Command-N, or you can go to Track New. And let's go ahead and create multiple mono tracks, and you want the voice to be mono because in TV you'll be mixing it with music and sound effects, so you'd want the voiceover to be positioned within your stereo mix directly down the middle to help keep the clarity throughout the mix. Okay, and next up we have the sync tracks or dialogue tracks, and you want to create these tracks as mono tracks, as for the same reason as the voiceover, you want to keep the clarity throughout your mix. But you can also create stereo dialogue tracks as well, for example if they had a lot of cheer or ambient sound behind it and it sits in the mix nicely, then it can just sit down on a stereo sync track. Okay, next up we'll have the sound effects tracks, so we'll start with the mono sound effects tracks. These give you great freedom when you're trying to rebuild a sound bed for a scene, for example, and you want to position them or pan them left or right, you can do so. And if you're recording Foley stuff within the studio or at home, whichever microphone you're using, you're going to want to put it down onto a mono sound effects track. So let's go ahead and create the stereo sound effects tracks as well as the music tracks. Alright, so all tracks are there for now. So let's go ahead and color code our track so visually it's nice and clear for us to navigate around the project. Okay, so as you can see, everything is color coded. I actually added a voiceover record track, which I highlighted red. I think any record track should be colored red. Let's go ahead and create some auxiliary subgroups. This will help each element of the mix to be routed through their own channel and giving you more control. And the benefit of this is if you wanted to put a compressor on your sync sub, you will be sending all of your sync tracks to one channel, allowing you to treat or automate as you wish. Okay, so now I'm going to be setting up a final mix track. This would be my final destination of the template, so all of my subs will be going to the final mix. Just one other thing, you also want to make sure that your subgroups and your final mix channel are solo safe, and you can do this by command clicking the solo button on the subgroup and the final mix. This will allow you to be able to solo any track in your template and still be able to hear the output of that track. You'll be able to see why in the next video as we go through internal routing of our template. So at the minute, it's just routed to main outputs, which is incorrect. And as your template grows, which it will do over time, you can hide and show tracks on the track section on the left-hand side. This can be a little bit easier on the eye if you're doing smaller sessions and you don't need all the tracks to be exposed. Let's go ahead and create the video track for this session. Now you'd want to make sure that you're working to the same frame rate as the final delivery of your project. For example, UK TV delivery is 25 frames per second, so you'd want to be making sure you're working to a 25 frames per second picture. Okay, in my next video we'll be going through the internal routing of the project to make sure everything is being sent to where it should be. That's it for today's video. Make sure you hit that like button and press subscribe for more content like this.